listening to M.T.V.B. Podcast. Movies, TV, video and board games. This show may contain swearing.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the M.T.V.B. Podcast. The podcast that talks about movies, TV shows, and video games and board games. I'm your host Anthony, as well as most people know me as the Ant-Man. And welcome to a very special episode, and probably going to be the most controversial episode in M.T.V.B. history. I have had so much feedback and other people constantly asking me for this episode to be done, and it's going to be done today. It is going to be our review of the most controversial game of 2020, The Last of Us Part 2. And I'm joined by a bunch of guys that love to talk about video games. Guys, introduce yourselves around the table, please.
Hi, glad to be here. Go cool. Pharmaceutical, go cool.
Grey Fox in the building.
And it's Little Gal here.
It's Kurge, aka Brown Fuzzle.
Guys, welcome.
We're finally doing this.
We're finally doing this. After how many times have you asked me to do this?
This is happening.
It needs to be done, man. It needs to be done.
I need to, yeah.
I think it come down to like either having a Pokemon or Last of Us Part 2 episode. So I thought, fuck it, let's do this one.
Pikachu. Where's Mission Nash here? No.
Yeah. Ash.
Hi, my name is Nash.
So we need to cut that out. So yeah, Nash probably would have been my backer on this, but
Well, I think Little G is going to be siding with you.
Not too far, but I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
We'll see.
we'll talk about it and see.
We're
where
not going to gang up on you.
So we're going to go.
Came out wrong, but
yeah, not on this podcast. So let's go around the table and actually, before we do that, we're going to go into spoiler territory, obviously. So I'm going to have to put that warning up first.
Spoiler warning.
Guys, it's been about nearly a year since it's come out now. So we're in May and it came out in June of last year. So if you don't know what the game is or haven't played it, don't listen because this will be full of spoilers. So here's your warning. We're going to start with going around the table as to who liked it and who didn't like it. Gokul, did you or didn't you like it?
I loved it. Honestly, I loved this game. Yeah.
Right, out you go. Big G.
I really enjoyed this game, and it played with me on an emotional level. That's why I like this game.
Yeah. Little G?
I thought it was okay. It's a good game. Not like it's got 10 out of 10 or whatever. It's not like that. It's 7 or 8. It's a good game. I wouldn't play it again. It's okay.
First was better, obviously.
Yeah, it's just okay to me. That's it. It's not amazing or anything.
I personally loved it. Not better than Last of Us Part 1, but it was a really good game. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're all gamers. You played the first one?
Yes.
Love the first one. I love the first one.
The first was amazing.
Yep, Gokul?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. The main reason why I wanted to play number 2.
So did you guys play it when it was out on the PS3?
Yes.
The first one?
Yeah, the first one.
And play the remastered as well.
Yeah. Gokul?
Yeah, definitely. I played it first on the PS3, and when it came on the PS4, I
got it as well.
But have you noticed that's like a little strategy Sony do nowadays? They release their core game at the end of that cycle of the console, and they release it on the new.
They won't mind it.
They're going to do the same with this.
Yeah, because I never played it on the PS3. I had a PS3, but never played it on
Did you
there.
not?
No, because I never really got into the hype of it. I mean, I'm working at Blockbusters, I knew of the game, but I never knew it was like one of the best ones on PS3 up until the PS4 come out and they remastered it, and people were just constantly going on about this game. So I thought, give it a try for the first time, and obviously played it on the PS4. But I was very late behind what the
I knew of the game
with the game. Yeah,
knew of the game coming out, but it wasn't like, oh my god, this is going to be the best game. It was like, okay, this looks really good. I might have to check this out. And then obviously I got it on day of release, and then it was just like, just kicked off. It was like a massive game. All from then.
I think it's like because it came after like the hype of Uncharted, wasn't it? And then you hear it on the news, and they're like, okay, they're going to do a new IP. What is it? It's set in a post-apocalyptic world, and you're like, what? Like, how are they going to do? How's Naughty Dog going to do this? Like, like it's a game that's fun and very jumping, adventurous, and they're going to do something that was dark. Yeah, and I remember reading that, thinking, okay, this could really flop. But I had faith. I
purely went into it because it's a Naughty Dog game, and I've played all the Uncharted, like you said. And when you hear Naughty Dog, their games are like top-notch games. So I knew, heard this. I thought I had to get this. That's what sold it to me. It's Naughty Dog. So
I mean, I played the original on PlayStation 3, but we did get the remastered version, but I never played it again. I felt like it was. I was playing other games.
So the remaster on PS4 comes with. Had a little edition mission.
Yeah.
Was that on the PS3 or was that just something for the PS4?
No, the prequel you're talking about.
No. So basically there's a section of the game in the original that's cut, and it's about Ellie with the girl.
Yeah, that's an additional
DLC,
part.
That's what I'm saying. Was it in the PS3 era?
It wasn't.
Or was it for the PS4?
That came with the remastered. Yeah,
right. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it came with that, and that was kind of like just building on it, like, wasn't it? It's like you played the first one. So when the game first came out, played it, and I think a lot of us who were like who had a PlayStation, again, just blown away by it, like, wow, Naughty Dog has done it again. They can prove that they've done a new type of IP and they've killed it. They've done.
They smashed it out of the park, man.
Absolutely.
Just a quick question: I swear it had online multiplayer as well.
Yes.
Oh, yes, it
did.
Yeah.
But the second
they were going to do it with 2, but they scrapped it, didn't they?
Okay.
Because it would have delayed it even more, apparently.
Right. Okay.
So they scrapped the whole thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, but we're going to get into that.
Oh,
Plot thicken.
So, me personally, I love the first one. Like I said, I was very late in the game playing it, and I don't even know how I managed to avoid spoilers because that opening is just such a tearjerker, which we mentioned in our emotional episodes. Emotional gaming episode. So when number 2 was announced, obviously you knew it was coming. Were you guys like really super hyped up for it? Because I definitely was. I was super hyped up for Last of Us Part 2.
You got the special edition console as well.
No, did you?
I saw you.
No, I didn't. No.
Didn't?
I had the Death Stranding console. Didn't I?
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
As much as I would have liked to have had the PS4 one, but I was super hyped for that game when it was coming out. It was like the one, that and Cyberpunk, which turned out to be naff anyway. But those two were the games for 2020 for me, the ones I was looking forward to. What about you guys? Were you looking forward to it?
Honestly, I wasn't looking forward to it as much. I didn't think they would be able to top number 1, hands down. They would never be able to do it. And I was just waiting to see what people would say. And I actually waited for Big Guy to finish it. I didn't want to waste my time. And he completed it and he told me it was good. And I ended up playing after that.
I think I was playing something else and I wasn't too bothered. I was gonna get down to playing it. Then I heard like you didn't like it. Then I was like Nash crying about it. Then you guys liked it. I was like, oh my god, I need to play this. So I
remember the WhatsApp, group WhatsApp lit up. Like I remember finishing work and 138 messages. I was like, what the fuck are they talking about now? Actually, Last of Us. And I was like, oh, here we go. And I was like, wow, okay, it was interesting though. But just reading in and just seeing what people were saying, I was like, oh, and at this point I was kind of like halfway through the game as well. So I was like, there were certain parts where I didn't read. I was like, oh, they're going to spoil it. But I had an idea. And I was like, oh, and then that night I was reading up on IGN and stuff. And a lot of people had these views. There's a lot of haters, and a lot of others as well. Like, it was very divided.
Like I was messaging Nash like privately while I was playing it. And he was saying, oh, don't you think it's pointless, blah, blah, blah about a certain part of the game? And I was like, no, it's a different aspect on the game, and it's a different take on the whole game. It's not going to be number 1 again, is it?
See, like I was kind of hyped up for it, but obviously, like I played your one.
Yeah, I gave you my copy. I gave him
play it straight away. I think I was in the completing Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
Fallen Jedi. And I was like, I know I'm going to play it. I know I'm going to come around. I wasn't like, oh my god, I need to get on it straight away. And then I borrowed it off you like a week after it came out.
Yeah.
Or after you completed it.
I finished it, yeah.
When I jumped on it and I was just hooked. It was just like...
Absolutely.
But obviously, like, some bits happened and I was like, oh my god, this game is rubbish. But by the end of it, we're going to go into it bits later, but I just ended up loving it. So
yeah.
Little G?
Yeah, I mean, I was not hyped up as much as you guys were. I was playing something else at the time. I knew, like Gal said, I was going to come around to it, but it's just when. I kind of only played it because of
But it's kind of good that you've all played it separately and have your own opinions on it.
Exactly.
Like, you're not just like, oh, my bro told me this, so I fucking know you.
Yeah, because I went in open-minded and I knew, like, you didn't like it, Ant didn't like it. You loved it, Gal, my brothers loved it. And I was like, okay, hold on, what's going on here? I need to know what. No one's told me anything. I just want, let me play the game myself. Went with open-minded and I've made my own decision. I'm not in the middle. Don't really love it that much. I don't think it's a bad game. But yeah, I'll tell you later on when we go into it.
Yeah, sure. So whilst we're here, should we go into the story of the game first before we even go into our reviews and our pros and cons about it? Because let's face it, if people know what it is, they're not going to know the full whack of the story. So who would like to start off?
I can do the intro bit if you want, and then someone go in.
We'll jump in every so often.
So the story takes off obviously after part 2, where Joel obviously has makes that huge decision, saves Ellie because obviously she has a cure in her
at the end of part 1.
In order to get the cure out of her, they will kill her. Obviously Joel already lost her daughter, decides, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to burn this whole building down and save her, and doesn't kill the world. And obviously it starts off between her and Ellie, Joe and Ellie, you know, how they've carried on sort of thing. And it's a bit disturbed, like weird, because they don't have that full sort of bond in the beginning of the game.
What's the year gap between the two?
I think it's about 5 years, is it?
Something like that, isn't it?
First and second.
I think it's like 5
Yeah, I
years
think
apart.
so.
But you would imagine them,
years.
because I was a bit baffled, because they had that weird relationship, because obviously Ellie's not getting along with her sort of thing, and you're like, okay, and obviously
the cliffhanger at the end is that he tells her, that's what their decision wasn't it, to get free, but she still doesn't believe him. That was the whole.
That's the thing. He doesn't fully tell her, because there's another flashback later, So obviously that was going on, and then obviously in the background you play as a new character, Abby. And obviously she's
well, not yet. You start off as start off as Ellie. You're jumping way ahead now.
Okay. I went too far. So someone else jump in. I might go spoiler territories already.
So Ellie's grown up. She's got a girlfriend called Dina, who's
They're gone. Sorry.
No, go on.
Yeah, and she's got like relationship issues with her or something.
She's in sort of a relationship.
So they're basically girl on girl, and there's people in the town that aren't, happy with it, whatnot. But Joel supports, her growing up with it and whatnot, sort of thing. You kind of know Ellie's, lesbian from part one. That extra scene I was mentioning about the DLC thing, and then sets it up. So, but Dina isn't Dina?
Isn't that's what I say. It's complicated.
She was in a relationship with Jesse, the guy. Jesse guy.
Yeah, Jesse guy. But she still likes Ellie. So again, it's one of those confusing sort of love triangles.
Yeah.
And obviously, like
you can tell, like Joel is kind of she's kind of being distanced away from Joel as it goes on in this small town. Yeah,
but that's what I said. You still, I think she does tell him at the end of, like you said, number 2. But this is still kind of confusing because you still think they'll be kind of close, isn't it? Yeah. So you're like, what's going on? So that kind of like draws you into carry on sort of.
So, I was going to carry on with what happens after. Yeah. That. But so apparently there's some sort of drama that happens in the town and a lot of like politics here and there. And then I think they're sent to a post to look after, and Joel gets sent out for 2 days or that. He hasn't come back, reported. So Ellie's kind of like, hold on, what's going on? She gets sent out to check it out and finds that he's been kind of like kidnapped. Is it kidnapped?
That shows that Ellie still cares for it.
Ellie, because they didn't show any sort of bond. Like she didn't have any sort of connection with him. They're just like, hey, hi. We don't know what's going on. There's something more to it, but you have to carry on playing the game to uncover it. But she wants to find out if he's okay because he obviously she still cares about him. Goes there and finds out that something's happened. She's there. We're spoiler. Everyone knows there's a spoiler.
No.
Yeah. We've done the spoiler warning to carry on.
Yeah. Have I missed anything apart from that point?
No. Yeah, perfect.
So he goes there, and then you see Joel getting beaten up. She goes to save him. There's a group of people there, take her back, and they literally kill Joel, the main protagonist in Last of Us 1. He's killed right in front of you, and we all loved him so much. It was so, like, for me, I think that's why a lot of people did not like the game purely because Joel was killed.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Just a quick one, sorry guys. I think you play as Abby before.
Do you play Abby?
Yeah.
You do.
Okay, because I remember they switch.
Yeah,
at that moment when Ellie sets out, you
become Abby, and she goes to that post where they find Joel and Tommy.
And they also that area's overrun by zombies. Yeah. And then I remember because
she's infected. They're not zombies.
Abby actually gets saved by Joel.
That's it.
There you go.
That's what happens. Yeah. So Abby runs into Joel. Obviously, you don't know what's actually going on, but Abby is like, this group is looking for someone, hunting someone down for some reason, and they're close by basically, and they get overrun by infected, and they run into Joel. They run into Joel, and obviously Joel, being Joel, helps them out, and they all like get trapped within like this old building. And I think that's when Ellie enters. I think
no, Abby's in, and that's when Abby attacks Joel.
Yeah, realizes it's him that she's after.
Attacks him.
Beats the crap out of him after being helped.
Yeah.
And that's where death by a golf club.
That's it.
Yeah. Mullered to death, and Ellie witnesses it all, doesn't she? She's been held down, and like this is the point of the game where she could kill Ellie as well. but lets them go regardless.
Yeah.
But then again, obviously, you will have a game. Then if we,
but then that's not why they're there, aren't they?
Exactly.
They're solely for Joel for a specific
exactly.
reason.
So we find out there's a backstory as to why Ellie's after Joel, which
they're just after a goal. They just shows that they're just after this specific person. So they're not out to kill every single. That shows their characters. So that's what I saw.
Yeah. So go.
Oh, but what I didn't like. I was so fuming at that point because like Joel died but the way he went, because Joel helped her out like proper, like saved her life, and she turn beat the shit out of him.
Was it a shock to you?
Yeah.
Right.
No, I knew he was gonna go.
Right. Yeah. But that was my issue with it.
I knew he was gonna go.
Yeah.
But the way he went, I just couldn't. I was. I told you. I put the controller down. And I was like, if the game doesn't kill Abby, if Ellie doesn't kill Abby by the end of this game is gonna be. I told you that. I'm gonna hate this game, and that was my stance at that point.
So the rest of the game is essentially a revenge plot. Mm-hmm. Abby goes away back to her camp, and then Ellie is after Abby, isn't she?
Yeah.
Goes with Dina. Dina goes with her, and they both go on the search for Abby, don't they?
That's it. And in the meantime, I think you switch characters.
Yeah, but during that, you get backstories of her and Joel as well, whatnot. Like the famous giraffe scene in number 1 is done with a dinosaur in this one.
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite cool. I didn't think it was necessary, but it was kind of okay.
I like that.
I like the scene after that where he finds the tape of the rocket launch and does the sound. Yeah. That is a beautiful scene, full stop. Yeah, I just didn't think that the dinosaur thing was necessary. It was like a nice little plug because it's the giraffe thing. Dinosaur.
But, I thought it was nice. I thought I'd see I went in the photo mode.
Oh man, this is not in the photo mode. So like, as you guys know, me and Gav got this really this love for photo mode, and I was just spending I think half the game playtime hours, 10 hours to spend just trying to take photos because it's so beautiful.
I spent an hour taking photos of that T-Rex.
And you mentioned that scene, yeah. For me, that was the equivalent of that giraffe scene. For me, that did it, man. I was there, and I was like, "This is making me emotional." That was like, imagine you're there, and it was so genius because if you like space and you're into that, you understand that was like the module that the Armstrong and them lot went into. So she was in that, and she was reliving that scene, and they're kind of creating this world that shouldn't be. You know what I mean? It's like if it was normal, she could have been an astronaut. Whatever.
Don't you think in an apocalypse it's a bit weird how he finds a tape? Of the
that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. That I was like, okay, come on now. Really? Happened to be here and what? What kind of conspiracy? Man. I genuinely thought it was a conspiracy. I was like, oh, could this be like a moon landing thing happening or something? But it was smart. It was really, really good that they threw that in. Yeah, there's little elements here and there. Really good.
So as we carry on, we get to a certain part of the game where Last of Us is very get to A, get to B sort of type game, isn't it? Yeah. But they started an open world segment in this one, didn't they?
Yeah.
It wasn't actually.
It's just one part of it. That's it.
Yeah.
And I was actually expecting it throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
And it was actually a cool.
I'm glad they did it like that. To be honest,
I don't. Yeah.
But then you mentioned earlier on about it being repetitive. Do you think if they made that part not open world, it wouldn't be as repetitive?
See, I mentioned the repetitive. I think maybe you saw it was the gameplay, as in not the level design, as in get your weapons, kill the guy, hide under those, stealth kill. That element was kind of, especially to the end where you're like, crap, I want to know what happens now. This is getting to the end. Yeah, that's something I did.
I think they did well with the different types of enemies as well. I think you had
not towards the end. I don't think.
I thought
that's what I felt.
But don't you think it's the same as Last of Us 1? It's essentially the same thing.
No. I see what little girls talk about because you had different types of groups, like the Whistlers and all that sort of stuff. Were really cool.
Yeah, at one point,
Stalkers.
When the Whistlers, what was the Stalkers? Yeah, dude, that was shit myself. I was in the what's it called? It was
what's the guy with the bow and arrows? Are they the Whistlers as well?
Yeah. I think the Whistlers.
Yeah, the Whistlers as well.
Yeah, they made that whistle.
When I first went, I was like, what's going on?
I think they've done well with that.
I genuinely thought it was people outside my house. Again, we're going to talk about the sound later, but I was like, whoa, this is...
It's the delivery guy trying to come in.
Exactly. This is like pre-lockdown, everyone's delivering on my road. This is so them. Yeah, that was wicked, man. Absolutely scary. Really shat myself. I think I did. Sorry.
Don't get me, that was right, but I just felt that last segment, to me, maybe it was just the fact that, like I said, maybe I wanted to get to the end of it. And it felt like, look, I need to get through this. It's getting kind of long, sort of thing.
No. Stick with the story. We'll go back to that in a minute. So we get to a part where they kill a bunch of guys, kill a bunch of infected whatnot, and they hide out in a theater.
Yeah.
It's like a theater, not movie theater, like a
theatrical.
yeah,
They find out that.
and then Dina starts complaining that she's ill or whatnot.
That's it.
Turns out she's pregnant with
Jesse's
kid, which again, Big J, I was talking about the whole love triangle thing. It's like she's a lesbian, but she's having her ex-boyfriend's baby. Yeah, what the fuck? And then we go to Abby.
That's it.
Yeah.
We go to Abby's side of the story now, which is
the stadium.
Yeah, so no, we actually go back to when she's younger and she's interacting with her dad and stuff, don't we?
Yeah, you find out.
I need to find out, which for me was probably one of my favourite parts of the game, is her backstory as to why she's after Joel. And it turns out that Joel shot her dad, who was the guy that was going to remove the cure, technically kill Ellie to cure the world, wasn't it?
Just a question. Did anyone see that coming though?
I didn't.
No, I don't.
That's why I said I really liked it.
I don't know. I had a hunch for something.
Something really pissed her off,
Yeah.
obviously. So
I
I
had
had
something
knew it.
like she's killed someone, but then when it got to the flashback, I was like, maybe his dad got killed somehow. But I didn't think it was from that actual point of the end of Last of Us Part 1. So
yeah, I feel like because we love Joe so much, we didn't think about that.
Yeah,
It's blindsided
exactly.
us
It's like
completely.
Joe wouldn't hurt a fly, but you forget what he did.
You
didn't
forget-
he?
yeah.
He destroyed that hospital, didn't he?
Exactly.
Just to save Ellie.
It shows you that, it's like, oh, exactly. It makes you, in a sense, like, question the guy or, like, doubt him. All of a sudden, it's like, this guy that
he
you...
destroyed Fireflies then, basically, didn't he? Is that right?
Yeah,
The
he
main
wiped
house.
them out.
No, he didn't destroy Firefly. He destroyed that. He just essentially destroyed
that
the
base.
people in that base.
So the
Fireflies are like a big group
so
thing,
just,
aren't
he
they?
destroyed that base, so they wouldn't
Isn't
find.
Ellie's not Ellie? No.
Abby.
Abby's a Firefly, isn't she?
Yes.
Well,
No, no,
part
no,
of that
no,
group.
X.
She's not part of
X.
the group.
They're not Fireflies.
They're not. They're a big organization.
They're called
But they were part of Fireflies, but they had to, because that base was destroyed, then they joined, what was that new group called?
Wolves or something like that.
Wolves,
They had,
or- I can't remember.
they had a wolf icon.
The Wolves. Yeah, they call them the Wolves. They have another name, but they call them the Wolves. So, yeah. I think so. Was it?
Look up,
Wow.
Michael.
Yeah.
Go on, do John stop and Google
They
it.
do have, because actually towards the end of the game, it's Fireflies around, but
They're all hidden.
Yeah, they're all hidden around now.
Yeah, so we obviously find out Abby's backstory, but now we actually go through Abby's side of the story. So it's essentially Ellie's same story, but through Abby's eyes now, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's obviously the same timeline, and it's whatever Ellie was doing at that point, Abby would be in a different point, and it's basically Abby. So say she's at the hospital at one point, and she Ellie's obviously.
That's it.
Abby's gone from that point, and then that's when Ellie just arrives.
that-
Right after
Yeah,
that point.
we fucked
They
up
do
because
that.
when they were in the theatre, that's Abby's there with the gunpoint, and she's about to shoot Jesse, or
That's
when it changes,
and then it goes to Abby, and then we hear Abby's side, and it will connect to Abby
That's it,
being at the theatre. So this is the
It
story
does-
of how
the
it
story
connects
does
there.
like a weird sort of like switches between back and forth. But if you notice, like you're going to a specific point where you played as the other character, it's just like Kurd said, and then obviously that's why we're kind of confused, kind of explaining it.
when they did it though. And
Yeah.
when they,
But yeah, and then essentially gone. And
But no, so we got the story of that, which is a very, very long segment of about Abby. I personally thought Abby's story was more longer than Ellie's. But then again, we already know Ellie's story from number one, so it kind of makes sense to do it.
yeah,
Out of the whole 10 hours it is you play Abby, I think there was two parts of that I really liked as Abby. The rest of it I thought could either be cut down or just not necessary. There are parts in her...
we're talking about.
Sorry, no, there are parts in her story that I thought were forced down you. I'm sure like Little G will back me up on certain things of this, but we'll go into that on the pros and cons bar. Anyway, carrying on with the story, it connects back to Ellie and Abby at the theatre, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Abby beats the shit out of Ellie, doesn't she? Absolutely mullers her. Like within an inch in her life, she beats her down.
The crap out of it, yeah.
And again, Abby lets her live for a second time, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And then it's years later now. I thought the game was over then because we cut to a year later or so.
Yeah.
Yes, a year later.
Ellie's on a farm with Dina. They have the child now.
Yeah.
Jesse dies.
Jesse got shot.
That's
Abby shot Jesse. Sorry, going back to that. And then I thought it was literally going to be the end of the game because there's a shot where, what's her name? Ellie's holding the baby, and they're just looking out into this beautiful landscape sort of thing. And we get a visit from Tommy, which is Joel's brother, isn't it, in the game? And he's basically gone there to say, "I found Abby," this is where it is. And you can tell by Ellie's eyes that she hasn't forgotten. She still wants to get Abby. So she tells Dina she's going to do it. And Dina's like, well, if you're going to go, we're not going to be here when you get back. And she still has that mind of revenge in her head. She's still going to go regardless. I want Abby, full stop. And then we get another couple hours of Ellie, isn't it? Yeah. Trying to hunt her down, whatnot, and she gets trapped or not. We get to the very end where another group of people have practically crucified Abby. She's been living her life.
Sorry to interrupt. Don't you play as Abby first, but in that epilogue bit? Because then you end up...
Yeah, I think
then you play as Ellie. Then you play as Ellie.
Because don't you... The pregnant girl dies.
No, she doesn't die.
She doesn't die. She's alive.
No, the other one.
Abby's friend. The annoying one.
Oh, we missed that out.
The Aquarian. Yeah. Do you remember?
Oh, shit, yeah, sorry.
So Ellie basically kills...
sorry, we got to the aquarium. So, beg your pardon. So, back in Abby's story, there's a part where she has like a love interest with a guy, like an old friend of hers or something. Yeah.
This is before
he's got a girlfriend who's pregnant.
That's it, yeah.
And, Ellie kills the pregnant girl, kills Abby's love interest as well.
But accidental,
but still kills a pregnant woman in the end.
Hence why she comes back hunting Ellie and then kills
That's right.
Jesse.
Yes, thank you for the correction.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, skipping to the very, very end, Ellie finds Abby crucified, doesn't she? And then within an inch of her life, she still wants to fight her, full stop. Mm-hmm. They go for a fight. Ellie gets to the upper hand in the end and eventually... she's going to drown her or something, isn't she? Yeah. She's under the water, and you're tapping the X button, fucking die, come on. And then obviously she sees something that changes her mind in the end and lets Abby go in the end, doesn't she?
Yeah, she sees a little kid that she said Abby saved.
Chooses not to. She chooses to not take her revenge in the end, and after all that, goes home, finds Dina not there, and it's pretty much game over. She can't play the guitar anymore because she's lost 2 fingers as well. Yeah, we've kind of skimmed the story, but we're going to go into more detail now, aren't we, with the story anyway? But
basically just the story.
That's the gist of the whole story.
That's the gist of the story. It's two revenge.
It's a revenge
stories
but
in one.
not a revenge if you like. If you think about it.
Yeah, so we'll go into our reviews of it, what we did and didn't like of it. So we'll go around a couple of likes. We'll go to my dislike and we'll go to a couple more likes. So Kurt, you start. Why did you like it? Little G, why did you like it? Okay, go on.
I liked it because throughout the whole game, whole of Last of Us 1, obviously the beginning of Last of Us 2, you love playing as Ellie. I'm sure Gal's going to probably say the same point, and probably Goku as well. This game makes you like the person that killed Joel in this game, to the point where you saying you were smashing the X button at the end to drown her. I wasn't even pressing it. I didn't want to kill her. I was like, no, I don't want to kill her. Because you've seen what happens to her, what she's gone through. If you were to compare it, she's gone through a lot more than Ellie has. And yeah, it's just played on your emotions like that. And I loved it just simply for that story. For the story aspect, that's what I loved about it. Gameplay wise, again...
was that what we're talking about? The whole, everything about the game or the story?
Yeah, this is the review. Okay, this is our personal review of it.
Sorry.
Upgrading system is amazing. Only one thing about the upgrading the weapons and stuff. Obviously, you have the epilogue bit where you're going towards Abby's crucifixion area. Obviously, you end up getting SMG, which you could have got earlier. I mean, it's a bit... Yeah. To be honest, I feel that bit could have been shortened. If I had to be picky, that bit could have been taken out a bit. You don't need a whole playthrough of that area. Other than that, music I found amazing. I mean, I'm just going to keep it short and sweet, and that's what I loved about the game.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go into your pros and cons about it in a second. We're just doing a quick review.
So my main thing why I loved that game was the gameplay. Honestly, the horror bits, I loved it. The enemy, the character, what they brought in that game. They made good use of the weapons as well, because it seems like I was using a lot of the tripwire a lot, especially with what they call the whistlers or the stalkers. That was it. I love those. I love the enemies, and there was a time where you're in the underground base and there's massive things after you. I love that. I loved every bit of the gameplay. Honestly, the gameplay was my highlight of the game. Story, it was a bit... I don't know if it was about you guys. It was so much drama, and I was like, dude, if I want to watch some sort of drama thing, I could have watched a TV show. And it was like, okay, there's some stuff which was necessary, but then I was like, okay, look, this is a bit too much. Then it went too deep, and I was like, ugh. at some point I was like, I just want to get through the game. But it does, the game does
right.
take you on a lot of like a roller coaster through your emotions. Honestly, that was stuff I was like, oh shit, actually, like the last bit, I was actually like, oh shit, I don't really want to kill her. I actually stopped tapping the X button to try kill her off. So yeah, it makes you go up and down, but the story wasn't my highlight. It's actually the gameplay. Everything else, like music, was amazing. The upgrading the weapons, the graphics was just phenomenal. I loved. That's purely why I played it. But I don't think, like again, that was it. It's like a 7 out of 10. But gameplay was my highlight.
Me moving on. I'll keep it sweet again. Gameplay solid. It's just amazing gameplay. But what I really enjoyed was the attention to detail. And Naughty Dog are the best at it. Like, if you picture...
Aren't they the guys that rip off Indiana Jones games?
In general, their level design is so amazing. Like, if you picture, like, I love, like, stuff, like, overrun by nature. Like, if this studio was, like, overrun, like, they will depict it so well, and to the inch, to the broken glasses, to the the leaves growing out. It was so amazing. I look into those kind of things, and I like and go into photo mode, like go. I love that. And even I think is it Seattle, the city open world. That
Seattle.
was amazing,
beautiful,
amazing.
You know, when it rains as well, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Absolutely. I'm so glad they picked that city. For people, like, obviously you think of America, you think New York, Miami, Los Angeles and stuff, but Seattle is such an underrated city. I mean, just the pop culture of it and everything. And it's like, when you think of Seattle, the one thing is the spire in Seattle. It's like, just seeing even that, wasn't it, Gal? Just seeing it all, like, wow, this is what it would look like during...
Overrun by nature. I love seeing views. That was going on amazing. Beautiful. For me. Obviously, like, for me, I said the gameplay was solid, but at the end, like I said, I felt it was too I know there was like cool new elements, like the bow guys and enemies and stuff, which is kind of good, but I felt like kind of end got repetitive. And the downside, I didn't quite like some of the new, like the character, Abby's characters. I didn't. Like, one of them was annoying. Like, I didn't quite like it. That was my nitpick, but. The story was, I think, Last of Us did it for me. Like, the way like they grip me and make me love, Abby. Like, at the end, it's just like how little Kurt said, "Oh man, I don't want to kill her. Like, just look what she's been through, Ellie. Just leave her, man." I'm literally like, no. And it's like that the way they got me there. It's just done. And absolutely. I say it's decent. I enjoyed it. Apart from those repetitive gameplay and a couple of side annoying characters. Apart from that, solid. And music's amazing. Absolutely on point. And even the little segments with the guitar, I love that.
Oh, playing the guitar.
Yeah, like
that's
even
fun.
though like it looked a bit thick, but it was still like, it felt like you're playing the guitar. Really cool. Really cool.
Amazing. I'd have to say, absolutely. I mean, I like you said, like, I've waited a long time as well, and like you said, like, to play this game, as that everyone here on this table has, like, we've all heard of it for the past 2-3 years, and like, finally it's coming out. It's like it's been delayed. Finally, it's coming out. Okay, let's do this. And it just ticked a lot of boxes. Talking about, for me, it was like the whole journey. Like from beginning to end. And I mentioned this on the previous podcast as well. Like, I love those kind of games like Fallout where you have that journey, and this, like, about PlayStation, it's one of those things where you can manually save stuff as well. So I'd made a few manual saves for some reason. I don't know why. Like, I just want to replay certain parts again. So rather than again, but then when you look at that, you're like, oh, this was that part. Oh, this, you actually felt like you traveled across like a vast part of America, like, and like. Just different elements, right?
What Naughty Dog do is it's like, you start at that level, but in the background you see like a smoke.
Something.
And you eventually get there. Like, I don't know how they do it. It's amazing level design.
You can see it in the background and you're going towards that.
Slowly get to that. In every game, even in Uncharted, they do that. It's amazing.
It's amazing, exactly. And I just, again, gameplay just, was just like flawless in, loads of aspects. And just the whole bit, even like, because you mentioned that open world bit, right? Like, again, like with you, Gal, like I'd sitting there just admiring the place. I was like, whoa, this is like what our hometown looked like if it was run down. And then I noticed, like, if you guys notice, the little Easter eggs with the PS3s, right? They had PS3s there, and I was thinking, PS3, like, why don't I just throw in a PS4? And I was like, holy shit, no, this happened back in 2000 and during that era,
Did you see what game was next to the PS3?
Oh wait, was it The Last of Us?
Jack and Dexter.
Oh, yeah, Jack and Dexter. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you see a few head bobbles.
You get one of the
and
trailers,
stuff.
isn't it? It's got Jack and
Yeah.
Dexter.
Oh yeah, you get the
Exactly. Yeah. So it added that realism to that as well. And even when you think about like the technology, because like modern games now, it's all like you have that aspect of smartphones and you see a Wi-Fi route and stuff like that. But back then, that was still in its infancy. So it was just so like to the point. Like it was everything was absolutely there. And like the record shop, like when you go to the record shop, and Gal, you mentioned a bit about playing the guitar. Yeah, and even just seeing like that, playing the guitar and stuff like that. It was just little things. It was really, on point. So gameplay was good. The detail was amazing. Sound again was just beautiful. I actually like went on YouTube after that and learned to play the thing on the guitar. I was like, I need to play this song. It's so good. Like, please teach me. Yeah, it was amazing. And it was just it just takes you in. And, but yeah, I think, the whole, the story, I mean, we're going to talk about that later and stuff, but yeah, I think all in all, the story, yeah, it did it for me. And especially at the end, that last scene, and you're just like, oh my God, like, is this really happening? Like, okay, I don't want, like Kay was saying, you guys, I didn't want to kill her, right? Like, I didn't want to. At the same time, it's like, okay, this is necessary. It's fine. I've saved it. I can do this again. Like, and if there is like a, dual ending at the end or whatever, but, it did it for me. And I remember, especially, here's another thing, guys, like we'll maybe say this, but this happened during the lockdown. So it was, a lot of it was quite raw, like in a sense, like you were feeling it was quite scary as well, because you're locked down as well, and you're kind of having these connections to what's happening in the real world, and you're seeing like these newsreels and stuff like that. So that really kind of like, make your hair stand up in certain aspects of the game. It's like, whoa, this is kind of happening. Like, yeah, I'm having a delivery driver. Okay, maybe they didn't have that, but still, it's like I'm locked in. It's all this. Yeah, but I did like that game. Yeah, it was beautiful. Yes. Yeah, awesome.
Moving on.
Go on. Get your piece in.
Let's just go around very quickly. What did you give out of 5?
Out of 5?
Yeah.
4 out of 5.
3.
4. Solid 4.
Yeah, solid 4.
Okay.
Yourself?
No, see, right. Mine's going to be very interesting because I was super hyped up for this. You all know me. You all know my reaction to it. I wasn't the biggest fan of it at the end. I'll be honest. You're all spot on with graphics are amazing. Music's amazing. Story is okay, in my opinion. It's very long-winded. It's one of those games where I sort of think where they got to a certain point and Sony were like, we need to make it longer. So they threw in another certain thing. To me, hear me out, I thought this was advertised badly. Okay? Because we all played one. We all wanted to be Joel. We all wanted to be Ellie, okay? If you ever go back and look at reviews and whatnot, no one mentions Abby. Full stop. Even the trailers, no one does. If I was prepared to play as another character for 10 extra hours of the game, I probably would have been fine with it. But to me, there are parts of this game where I felt like I was forced to like something. It's like playing Halo 5 all over again. It's like play as Agent Locke. What was he called?
Yeah, Locke.
Spartan Locke. Play Spartan Locke more. I like him more than Master Chief. I was like, well, no. I've bought a Halo game to be Master Chief. I don't want to be Spartan Locke.
I had that same feeling in that game, yeah.
So there are moments Ellie, Abby has 2 moments in the game I really fucking love. I think it's better than Ellie's story at points. But to me, it was just one of those points where you've gone through all this. I was an emotional wreck at the end of it. And towards the end of it, I didn't think it was worth it.
Dissatisfying, yeah.
I was very unsatisfied with it. Just my opinion on that, though. But I did enjoy the game. But it's not one of those ones where I didn't think it was worth the hype in the end.
Fair.
Just purely because I wanted more of this, and I got more of that instead. But then looking back at, we were talking about certain things we'll bring up later, where I'm like, oh, actually, I didn't notice that first time, but now talking about it now, I go back to it. But yeah, like I said, everything Naughty Dogs, they know what they're doing at the end of the day. Like you said, level design and whatnot is fantastic. The scene where Abby's in that basement and that big fuck off infected thing comes out, and Jesus fucking Christ, that was just, I knew. See, Naughty Dog, before they released the game, they mentioned something special was in there, and I clearly thought it's going to be this bit here. Here we go. And good fucking God, did they deliver? That was friggin' awesome.
Crazy. Even the skyscraper bit when you go with the girl and Abby. That was amazing.
Level design.
That little bridge that.
Yeah, I liked the sniper bit as well with Abby.
Yeah.
And you find out it's Tommy. Is the sniper. So that was a pretty cool scene as well. But yeah, that's my side of it. We'll go more into it in a minute with our pros and cons. But yeah, it's just one of those games where I don't know how to say it really. I hated it I hate saying that word. Hate's such a strong word. I disliked it that much that I literally sold my PlayStation the next day. I really did.
That's a bit extreme.
You know,
what did the PlayStation do to you?
So do you know what? So going back to when you play as Abby, okay, you play her for a while, yeah, and then you get to that part where it's the theatre and you're going against Ellie. So technically the computer is the bad guy now. The computer's Ellie and Ellie's against you. Just that scene, I was just sticking Ellie out and just Abby out and just getting shocked. I didn't care for her. I just don't know why. I didn't have that, even though you got that backstory, which should have given me more sympathy for the character. I felt it was just unnecessary to go through the whole thing to connect with her into that theatre scene. If it was after that, then maybe I would understand it a bit more, maybe a bit better. But there were other things like when Dina says she's ill and you think, oh, it's got to be something really bad, whatnot. It turns out she's just pregnant. I thought the story would have been better if she was like infected or something. Yeah, more relevant. Yeah, it's more relevant at the time. And this is another thing I didn't like this game. See, we were talking about the stalkers, the whistlers, all that sort of stuff. The infected people or the infection full stop is kind of put aside in part two. It's more humans and more drama development. Like you mentioned earlier, Little G. That was another side I hated about this, apart from obviously the big scene with Abby and that big fuck off monster. And it's in the hospital, isn't it? And they go down to a basement and the infected attached to the wall. That was quite freaky as well. And I just kind of felt that was like, after they did that in the ferry scene, there wasn't much infected after that.
Yeah, you kill drama, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll go into a bit more on the pros and cons with it.
There's a moment where, like, when I played as Abby, I was like, I get it. I was like, why am I playing as Secure Lodi? But there was moments where, like, whoa, man, like, Abby's actually quite cool, man. Because when she entered the cinema, and she's, like, in that black vest, and I was like, she's like, got
this big fucking arm she's got as well. It's just like
that, I got to say, like in the beginning, that kind of bugged me. I was like, what's going on? Like Little G's kind of struggling to put on mass. How's she getting muscle like that? But I overcome that. I was like, okay, so she's worked out and she's huge. And that scene when she enters and she goes up and gets Ellie, and I'm like, well, she's actually badass, man. As I played her, and eventually I told Kurt, I was like, she's actually cool, man. I feel safe playing her.
Do you know what? When you play, so you play for a bit earlier in the game, then you go back to playing Ellie, and then obviously later when you go back to playing Abby. See, I kind of felt like if they spaced out a bit more, like between the two every time, because you have that little bit of Ellie, you have that little bit of Abby, you have a majority of Ellie, and then you have a fuckload of Abby. If they cut it out in between, I probably would have liked the character a bit more, because it was like, oh, we're going to enter this next segment of the stage. I'm going to go back to Ellie now. We're going to go back to the theatre. No, it just, for me, it carried on as like, I don't want to know the rest of this. I just want to go back and play Ellie.
They did it, I think, for you to bond with the character. But I agree with you. I didn't feel that much attachment to Abby as much as you guys did. I just thought she...
Dude, even her boyfriend doesn't feel attached to her. He flips her over and fucks her from behind.
Yeah, that was a scene I don't think it's ever been done in gaming before.
Little J just played that for that scene.
Little J's like, it's coming.
But yeah, that's mine. I mean, I'll give it 2.5. I gave it 2 originally, but I'll give it 2.5 out of 5. I mean,
at the end of the day, it's what you feel.
But also, that's a massive point. What you said is like they didn't focus on the infection.
Yeah, that was true.
I played because I love it's an infection, isn't it? Like you love that. You play. I played it purely for that. If I wanted to want drama, I would have watched like a TV series show. But I get there should be a drama in it, some sort of. But it was like way too.
That's what I'm saying. There's a couple of good moments for the infected, but I think even Ellie has one in that little old arcade place. But apart from that, it just there wasn't much of it.
It was like 60-40, more drama, 40% like infection, and I was like, no, that's not.
But then it goes back to Gal saying it's repetitive. Them adding, obviously they got the new group. Scars, they called it.
Yeah, true.
Do you think it changes it up a bit? Like
it does,
when I was playing, I actually feel feared the scars more than the.
They had a
Oh,
good,
really?
Yeah, I was just like, oh, I don't want to get caught by these guys.
they had a good introduction to them coming in. I love that.
Do you remember that part when you go in there, you fall in the train station?
Yeah.
And I've got the part where I rattled a thing and all these clickers came out and took them all. I was like, yes, son, I'm out of here.
I mean,
It was all like red and stuff, and it was like, I remember Narish getting really excited about that. He's like, oh, he's like, Metro's red lights here, man. And I was like, shit's gonna go down.
Well, Luz, I'm glad he's not on the episode. so that's our 2 cents about it. Let's go into the pros and cons of it. I mean, we've kind of talked about them as much, but I didn't like I kind of felt sorry for Ellie when she goes back and Dina's not there. And right, so me and Nash come up with a theory to this. So Ellie goes back, doesn't she? Yeah. And finds out Dina's gone with the child. But has she though? So we thought about this right now, and I don't know if you remember earlier on in the game, Dina gives Ellie a bracelet, and it's like the lucky turkey eye thing, whatever the fuck it is. I can't remember what it's called now. And she says, wherever you go with this, I'll be with you. If you go back to that segment where Eddie's trying to play the guitar and realise she's on her own, she's wearing the bracelet. So, but she didn't wear the bracelet when she went to go get Abby. So I have a feeling she's actually gone back to whatever the camp is they've gone to. But Ellie's just gone back to this home to pick up Joel's guitar.
Yeah.
So that's a theory anyway. It's not official, but that's a theory me and Nash should come up with. Because, it's quite right. It's right in front of you when she plays the guitar. There's the bracelet. But yeah, it's a theory anyway.
That's a very good theory.
I just thought,
wow.
She's an idiot.
No, she wouldn't want to live alone. I thought the same.
But no, that's what I think. I was like, fucking bitch. She did leave her. It's like, talk about supporting your girlfriend and whatnot. I was like, I felt really bad for Ellie.
Yeah, same. I was like, fucking hell, Dina. Why? Yeah, same. That's why I thought, like, finally, like, a happy ending to this, Like, she goes and she's there and the baby's grown a bit older. You see her first something like, imagine you see the first steps. And our whole circle of life thing is like, whoa, she was there to see that. Or something like that. That would have been like mind blowing. Yeah. Like a wicked human side to it. But, definitely. Yeah, and I agree. Yeah.
Was it pros and cons?
Your pros and cons about
it. Like I said, that last segment where obviously you find out, Abby's been taken and obviously she's been tortured and whatnot and she's hanging crucified or whatever. Like, that whole gameplay between there until you get to Abby I just felt like very repetitive. Maybe, like I said, maybe I was like, I want to find out what happens, sort of shit. Because it kind of leaves it as like a cliffhanger because they get Abby and the girl get to that little basement.
We haven't really talked about the girl. Do you want to talk about it quickly?
So.
Yeah,
those two
the Abby side character we're talking about.
So 2 neglects I had was obviously the end bit was a bit repetitive, and the characters I found quite annoying. The one character that I specifically found quite annoying was Abby's friend, who was like the pregnant lady. I just felt like she was just like Abby's friends in general were quite. I didn't feel like I was attached to them. And then all of a sudden she develops this like bond because she saves these 2 groups of brothers and sisters, or
2 sisters,
2 sisters. And obviously she kind of has a little bond with them, and she goes out her way to help them. And I think one of the sister dies, and one of them's having like issues, sort of thing. You kind of see the soft side of it, and that kind of develops. But I just felt like their characters were quite dull a little bit, whereas. I don't know, like
it was there for Abby's sake.
And I don't think I know you're saying it's unnecessary characters, but I don't think if the characters wasn't there, Abby's nice side wouldn't have come out, kind of thing.
Yeah,
you wouldn't have had that attachment to say, oh, she's actually a nice person. Like, she's gone out of her way to save this person.
That's why Ellie changes her mind, because she has that kid in the boat, and you can see she's doing everything she can to protect her, where she sees the Joel in her. So I get that, but I just felt like it wasn't.
Enough.
I didn't feel anything for those characters, especially her friend who dies, who's the pregnant one, which I was like, she was a bit annoying anyway. So I feel bad for saying that, but I think me and you had the same conversation. And
no one liked it.
Yeah, because we were talking about the ending, and my gripe with it was the amount of people that Ellie kills to get to this point and lets Abby go.
Yeah,
really didn't get me, because she's killed a pregnant woman, she's killed people's dogs, she's killed Abby's, love interest, whatnot. It's like, you wouldn't go through all that just to let her go, regardless if you see Joel in her, or the new Joel and Ellie in these two. Bullshit. Give me that.
So you reckon if she killed Ellie, you would have?
Yeah, would make sense.
Made sense.
I mean, I wanted either one of them to die. Even if it's like Ellie dying and then it's passed the torch to Abby, I would have been fine with that. But the fact that they both get let go, it's like, my personal opinion, if I was going around on a revenge plot, killing people, innocent pregnant people, innocent dogs, all for just to let them go at the end, it's not worth it. All those people have died just for nothing, if you think about it.
I think they've kept that, I think they've kept that for like another part.
I reckon
but one of them had to die, and I agree with that. It's just like, what are you doing? You wasted all that journey and no one dies. Like, hold on, that's why I gave it a 3.
Joel died.
My theory is they're going to
the guy we love dies.
My theory is they're going to make part 3 and they're going to make Abby.
They're going to meet him again.
I think. Well, they're making the first one remade again for the PS5. It's like, come on, just do part 3 already.
I'm not going to get part 3. I think it's going to be crap. I think it's
man, it's still going to be good.
You never know. Yeah, they might do something
those were my grabs. I thought at the end, the game kind of died down, and I thought Abby's friends or social group. Well, not social. Her friends were like, it weren't that.
Exactly.
I don't feel attached to them.
Well, the Mexican guy was there.
He was the only one.
He was the only cool one.
They had like a lot of different people on that, didn't they? Like
that poor girl with the PS Vita that gets stabbed.
Oh yeah,
the PS Vita girl.
When I first saw that, I saw it on the gameplay. I thought it was brutal the way Ellie just digs the.
And they died for nothing.
Exactly. There's like, when you think about the brutality of it, like, I was thinking about just the psychology of it as well. It's like these guys are like they're at a stage where everything's visceral. Like by that I mean like they are literally. Like imagine they probably eating like raw animals and stuff like that. So to them, like blood is nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's probably just as like they're so conditioned to seeing this. So that kind of like it's like when you stab someone and run away. It's like it's quick, but she's like digging it in. She's really going in. Exactly. Like to her, like there's no connection with a human. Like everyone's an animal. Do you know what I mean? We're all out for each other. That's kind of like the main thing. But it's what you meant and. Earlier at that, I think a lot of us just had a revelation about when you said it was more about the human than than the actual. Right, and it's so true because what excites me is seeing what's happening to the world and kind of facing the world rather than seeing like a bit of EastEnders going on and love triangles and shit. It's just like something like that, like a soap opera. It's like
that is a wrong point.
Yeah, it's such a good point. Think of it like that. Dude. It's so true, and like it's like it makes sense, doesn't it? Like I guess that's one of the reasons why I wanted to see that. I thought when Last of Us 2 came out, I thought, we're going to see more of that in this, and I was like, it's a lot more human. Okay,
I want to see that what she said.
But then again, that whole bit doesn't make the whole game, doesn't it? Though, it's just.
But
the whole journey.
Then again, it's like Coach said, it's repetitive on either side. You do more one or the other, isn't it? Hopefully, part 3 will have a bit of both. Who knows?
Yeah. But then here's my question. Sorry, I know this little G. Just then, how else would have done part 2?
Yeah,
like you can't have another Joel and Ellie sort of.
No, Abby.
Yeah.
Hey, I really like Abby.
Have Abby, but have an ending. Come on, guys.
Go on, G, your pros.
Okay, I've got a few stuff. I think we talk about the pros, but let me go into pros first. The game, I love how the enemies, I've talked about that, but what they called the scars. I loved the introduction to them. I thought, wow, I actually felt fear. I was, oh shit, we're coming up with a new type. I wanted more of that. Like in the Walking Dead series, when you heard that like little group that eat people. Oh, was it? Cannibals. Like they bring shit like that in. I'm like, whoa! I will so care. But oh shit, I'm actually scared for my life. These guys, I'd rather be infected than be caught.
You have something more.
Do you know what? I remember watching that episode with my wife on that Walking Dead one. Yeah. And I just went like, oh shit! And she's like, whoa, what's the matter? And I was like, well, where do you think they're getting the meat from? They don't have any cows. This ain't a fucking farm. Proper clocked and like, oh yeah, we're cannibals.
Oh yeah, that scene was amazing. That was wow. But like more of that would have been like, dude, that would have blown. Because I soaked up the scars. I love them. I love the idea. I love the way they introduced them. They're quite back. They're old age, isn't it? They're quite like the
your introduction to them, my favourite one was the Whistlers.
Yeah.
When you first meet them, you get the arrow in you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. And
how
how
start whistle the way
the AI was fucking incredible. How they talk to one another with the whistle.
Yeah.
I think there's another group who had the dogs and they get the dogs to sniff you out. That was really good as well.
So those they execute that well.
Absolutely. Like there's a bit where you're in the ditch and you're hiding, and it's what you said, you can hear that in the distance. Do you know what? I really can't wait when they remaster that for
I mean, like the next gen, because I know this whole
They will.
exactly the
They're so
3D
amazing,
audio thing would work so well because you can hear that in the distance, and then you have to go close to listen to what they're saying. You actually feel you don't want to come out of that bush. I would die in this bush, like so
Like, when I was playing it, like when you're fighting against the infected, I like to when you come in an area, I like to clear the whole area. Yeah. Then I can like loot up area. But when I'm fighting against these scars, you're like, you know what? It's not worth it. I'm just kill one person. I just try and get past the area. Fuck, it's not worth my life.
Fuck out of there.
It ain't worth it. Oh yeah, go.
Oh
You
yeah,
go.
Sorry, no, it's fine. It's fine. No, so with the scars, I love their story. They introduced it. They had like some sort of prophet. I love they explained it so well, and I was like, yeah, I got that, and I was like, wow, this is good. But also, it goes into detail with they're supposed to be like a peaceful group, and it was like it got very deep because someone's actually she basically got captured by the wolves leader, and they started rebelling. That's when they started taking things into their hand. That's when that group overturned into what they originally were. So and I was like, wow, this is really deep.
It was like a peaceful group. Then because the leader got taken away, they turned into like savages.
And no one knew. I was like, shit. So these guys were actually good, and because of someone else, they've actually rebelled and they're causing chaos. And like no one knows that. We just see them as they're the psychos, but they're not. They actually weren't. So I thought that was genius. I love how they introduced that.
But that's what we get with the Fireflies, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the big question that, kill one to save a million.
Yeah.
Or let her live and let a million die.
Exactly,
the Fireflies look like bad guys, but essentially, they're good.
Yeah.
But it's the question, isn't it?
Perspective, yeah.
It's like they've all got good intentions, but
who's right? Exactly. That's the thing. So this is why this game was lovely. I love that. We don't know which group is right. It's your own justice, isn't it?
Yeah, left it open for like debate. Sorry, like just saying, isn't it? Like that's the reason. Like, it was maybe I don't know. Maybe the guys thought, okay, we're going to do this because we're going to start a debate. Maybe they did. They
must have.
Must have. I don't know, but you got us talking about it.
Also, this probably the next bit is quite controversial, but there's 3 other bits I didn't like. Obviously, the ending, and you brought up on that, wasted all that time, and then no one dies. It's like, oh, come on, what, are you kidding me? I feel like they just kept them for the sake of keeping them alive for another series. And I was like, oh, you just ruined the game for me. I was like, oh, I didn't like. I thought it was pathetic. I was just like, I was so not satisfied.
So who did you want to die?
I didn't care who died. Like, I agree with you. I didn't care who died. Someone had to die. I was like, oh shit, Ellie's going to die. I thought Ellie was going to die. That would make sense,
Yeah, sorry, before that part happens, she gets caught in a trap, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She cuts her legs. And obviously your leg, you've got quite a main artery. So I thought she was going to bleed out probably die at the end, but obviously it wasn't the case at all.
Yeah. That's what, I thought she was going to die. I would have loved the game. I thought, oh shit, now Abby would have been the lead of the thing. That's what should have happened. Yeah. I didn't like it for that. And purely because of that, I think, as a free and more dry. Obviously, I told you.
So did you not?
Yeah. I enjoyed the game. I think the gameplay was amazing. The scenery, graphics, the scars, all those stuff. All those were top notch. Yeah. Purely because it's not like I didn't like. I like Abby, but I just didn't feel like I built enough bond with him.
The Kurds is the only ones that
felt attached.
Like there was emotions in that last.
I had emotions.
I was like, no man, don't kill her. I was literally she's like, no.
I'm not gonna lie, I had emotions because she was a good person at the end. But I'd have loved it to know that Ellie had a bit of Joe. She had to do it for Joe's sake,
right?
Because she's not like. You have to do bad shit in this world. You can't be a perfect person in this world.
But then she ends up finding that he was selfish and saved her life. Yep. So I think that they're trying to reflect it in her, isn't it? Like trying to just be not selfish, but like spare a life kind of thing.
Yeah, it makes you. Guys, I want to ask you something because I think I spoke to Nash about this, and because I know you, big Star Wars fan. Like I know a lot of you into it as well. Woo! And one of the things I want to know. Okay, so I'm not huge in Star Wars, but I remember watching episode. Well, when
get the fuck out.
I'm slowly my way. I finished The Mandalorian. I'm getting there next. But when you see episodes 1, 2, and 3, and especially is it episode 3 where you see a kind of like the rise of Darth Vader as Anakin, So, before when I remember like thinking, oh, Darth Vader, bad guy from the previous, the old trilogies and stuff. But then when you understand what Anakin went through, you kind of feel this like, oh shit, there's a reason why he's such a dick. Like the way, he's Darth Vader for this reason. He's been affected mentally, like as a kid, he went through that. So in the same, when you see that bit with like Abby, that's kind of like, I don't know. Like, it seems like that. Am I right?
You've just ruined Anakin for me. Every time I see him now, I'm going to think of that fucking bitch.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's like, oh shit, yeah, that's the reason. Oh, okay, I can see why she's kind of like that.
Yeah,
you know,
but that's the same with Ellie. Then that's why one of them should have died at the end, because Ellie had that same traumatic experience.
Exactly,
Joel was equivalent to what her dad was to her. So,
to her, exactly.
So one of them.
So there should have been a conclusion.
Yeah,
to
it should have just
Someone
made Eddie look like the bad guy. You know, she should. You know, she didn't give a shit. You know, you killed Joel, who looked after me. You know, she did what she can, but that's what she's. One of them had to be a bad guy. Why did they have to end it with both of them be? Oh, I'm perfect. I'm not going to kill you. You know, it's
that's
like a bit. But that was
yes.
yeah.
No,
so my other bit
for it.
was there's a bit controversial. It's nothing. I've got nothing against it. You know the. So the character that Abby saves, she's a small girl, but I believe she identifies herself as a boy.
The one from the tribe.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
So the tribe is quite...
Or is he?
Yeah.
So her name, we believe she's a girl, but she's shaved her head off to basically be a boy, right? Okay. And she's basically rebelling against that group. Apparently she's going to get married off to a older guy. So I get that, but... Like, to kill the child, you know, in a time of all the stuff that's going on, I feel like it was a bit too far-fetched. Hold on, you're chasing this girl because she's rebelled out of all of that, you know, and like I know she's going through changes, you know. I feel like Naughty Dog added this. Like, they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to give that reason, you know. I feel
Agreed.
like I completely agree with, like, you know, the awareness of, you know, people, TV shows, everyone's doing it, and I agree that, and it helps. But I feel like when it's kind of forced to just show, we're adding this, you know, she's going for change.
It's just not believable in that.
It's not. Yeah, any other scenarios, I would I'll completely accept it. But in this scenario, I was like, hold up, that's not realistic enough for me to like accept that. That is nowhere near realistic. I understand why they put it in awareness. I'm not against it, but I feel like it was a bit forced. And I feel like it was a bit of, you could have done something else.
Right. It's just like what I was saying earlier, like same valid point. It's just like, I just started to kind of feel bad for saying, like, Abby, like, muscular, like, you know, how pack on where my brother, no, it's prime example.
Arnold Abbey.
He's trying to pack on muscles like in normal time,
absolutely.
whereas post-apocalyptic time, how is she packing on that much fat?
I'm going to say,
I got no issues with that. Like,
absolutely.
I thought that makes her cooler. Though.
100%.
Like I said, it makes me feel like safer playing as Abby. Like,
exactly. Well, Gary, I want to go back. If we can just spend 1 minute just quickly talking about the morphology of those arms, right? I was so scared. I put me off, man. I saw that and I was like, this can't be real. Like, these arms, I don't get it. Like, they don't look. Yeah, I was like, looking at it thinking, it didn't seem right. Yeah, like, I just don't get Abby full stop. I don't get it. Yeah, she's so. Don't get me. I absolutely love her, but I think maybe they put. I don't know. It just didn't see. I generally thought she was like, she had some animal in her, like, you know, she's gonna be a werewolf by midnight or something like that. It just didn't seem, you know, more. I spoke to a few people about this. I was like, you know, like, I know one guy, one of my friends is a doctor who played this, and I was like, dude, you see Abby's arms? And he's basically like first year doctor. He's a GP, so he's been through it all. And he said, dude, this is not real. Like, I'm telling you,
maybe we're looking too much into it.
True, yeah.
I think Naughty Dog just done that just to make her look a bit quite cool, kind of like, you know,
the masculinity,
maybe very feminine. You know, she's not feminine. She's a bit boyish, but a bit feminine. And then they've got Abby, like the opposite,
kind of replacing Joel sort of.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, he's weird. Like, no problem with that. It's like, I just think from that kind of view, it just looked a bit. In that time, in the period of time, can someone put that much muscle on? That's what I was thinking as well. In the real world,
that sort of time,
in that sort of time where it's scarce. Exactly, you're looking for food, right?
They have people with genetic. They call. I think they call them genetic freaks or something like that. I don't know if that's a correct term.
That's kind of deep.
Hello, Abby, genetic freak.
No, not her term, but yeah, I'm not being offensive, but no, okay. So so I'm talking about like a bodybuilder,
like Brock Lesnar.
There's a guy, so he's a
Lesnar.
genetic freak. The guy just packs on crap load of muscle, so she might be like, she might have some sort of genetic thing where whatever she eats, she can like produce that much muscle.
Okay, so that's possible then.
Yeah, it's possible. I'm pretty sure. Okay. Yeah, if you look at it, there is like some athletes who have like just can pack on whatever.
That's why they look really.
Yeah, and it's not.
I remember there's a study on.
It's not impossible. It is. It's a very low chance for it.
When you saw Brock Lesnar when he was 19, the massive he was.
He could even eat. He doesn't have to eat meat, or I mean, like, he can eat anything. Like, no protein until the guy will pack on muscle.
Are we trying to say Abby's Brock Lesnar the next Brock Lesnar?
Suplex City, bitch. Coach, any pros and cons on it?
I think I've mentioned most of my pros. Cons is mainly the epilogue bit. I thought it was a bit long-winded. Other than that, I love the game. No,
I'm in the same boat.
I can't think of anything else. To be fair, cons wise, I actually love the way the bit where they Abby and the kid goes to the island and you fight off the whole horde of scars. I feel
the little village area.
Is that the one that burns down at the end?
Yeah. That was it.
That's a good scene with the horse riding out of there.
Yeah. That was really
like
good scene,
every scene in that is amazing. As in, not just that, in the whole game, it's just beautiful.
Yeah,
like
spectacular.
even if you like, when I know I'm going on about the photo mode, like every angle just looks amazing. You can't fault the game for that.
True.
Like it's amazing.
I'll never be in a photo mode person.
Try
like
it,
that.
like
Even
it.
on Spider.
No, I'm not either. I don't get it, but Bandejo over
here. Yeah, I mean, cons wise, again, I've had, I mean, after listening to your points, I understand.
Yeah. This is what we're here, just to hear each other's side of it. So
there should have been a conclusion. Yeah, one of them should have died. But yeah, no, I love the game regardless. I love all the characters and all of it. Yeah, I just can't think of any pros now for some reason.
That's right. We can come back to it if you remember.
Yeah.
I just want to talk very quickly into the Sony side. Now, I'm not dissing Sony because I'm more of an Xbox person. Everyone knows me, knows I'm more of an Xbox. I do love PlayStation, but I think there was an issue with this game. Now, hear me out on this because I sent you the video on this recently, and you can back me up on it. So, obviously, the whole thing about Joel's death got spoiled, didn't it? Yeah. So, the game was meant to be released in February. Then it got delayed till May because they were going to do the multiplayer. Yeah. Then Sony decided to can it because the spoiler had got out about Joel. So next minute they were like, okay, we're going to bring it out in June. Now, people have a theory that if that spoiler hadn't got out, it would have not come out for the PS4. It would have been a launch start for the PS5. They would have made you wait even longer for it. Wow. And which makes total sense if you think about it, because then they could have taken longer with the multiplayer side of it, whatnot. Yeah. But because that spoiler got out, because Naughty Dog, I think it's a Naughty Dog employee, had spoiled it out in the end. But then what happened was when the game came out, I think Sony knew they had a controversial game on their hands. Yeah. There was going to be likes and dislikes of it. So what Sony did was when they gave the game to companies to review, like IGN, GameSpot, whatnot, Sony pretty much had bought them out on that. And it's all in this video, because what Sony did is that when you review a game on YouTube, you're allowed to use the footage for it. Obviously, the companies are going to let you do it when it's a new game release. If it's months later, when it's not quite a new game, you can use the footage regardless. But when it's new out, what Sony did was they hired a company that monitored people's social media. So if IGN gave it 2 out of 10 or whatever it was, Sony would sue them for using the footage. So all these review companies had no choice but to give it a good review. Okay. And I do not think that's good for marketing. That was my gripe with it, because that's not giving people the opportunity to review properly.
In a way, just kind of blackmailing them.
It just makes it a bias, doesn't it?
It's like
the company should come out on that.
They should do. Yeah. And it's not fair. I mean, I'll send you the link to this video if you ever want to watch it. Yeah, it's very interesting because, again, it's a year later one, and they go into all little gripes about it. Yeah. And I just think that's very bad for Sony to do stuff like that. Yeah, no, I mean, you remember us talking about the Galboy streaming episode where they gave them stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what it's like nowadays when you review stuff. They give you free stuff, but they want you to give it a good review. Yeah. And that's not fair. I don't think that's right, in my opinion.
It's like bribing in a way.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Well, what they did was kind of blackmailing. Just say, look, if you don't, you use that footage, we're gonna, get you.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh shit, okay, we'll give you a right.
Well, we're gonna have to. We've got no choice but to give a good review.
I think they should come out and say, look, this is what Sony did.
It should have been done straight away. Though.
I don't know. That kind of hinders. So, like IGN, when a guy,
IGN literally gave it 10 out of 10. Yeah. It's like something's not right there. IGN barely give anything 10 out of 10. And then when that come out and I played it, I was ready for a 10 out of 10 game, and it just. To me, obviously, maybe to Courage it might have been, but
I don't know why they would do that though, because Sony and like Naughty Dog is such a the game is like you've seen Last of Us. Why did they did? There was no need for. I know it's a controversial game, but don't panic. Just give the game out. People will either like it or hate it, but I don't think they would do that.
Go on, Coach. If you're giving you 100% in the game, you should have faith in it. And if you think it's a good game, you shouldn't have to pay your way to.
But I don't think they did. I disagree. But you're gonna send me the link. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I
believe
mean,
he'll do
Big G's
that.
got it, but I can send it to you if you want as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, another thing was when it did start getting mixed reviews, Sony blamed people for hating on LGBT for it, saying that homophobes won't like this game because of such and such issues, which you brought up earlier, which is nonsense.
That's not the case.
It's nonsense at all.
See, that's in a way of saying, we put this character in so no one can say...
Yeah, because if you dislike it, then you're against us.
Yeah,
That's
a bit...
That's why I think they've added that kind of like, why would you, like, it was not... I don't know. Can't say it was not necessary, but it's just like I see the awareness side of it. But I don't think they added
totally
it for that.
agree. What you mentioned this earlier, actually, Gowdy, when you said, like, is it necessary to include that, or is it like it should come natural? It should be a natural thing. You should say this character should have that reason because it goes with the game. It's like, oh no, let's just put him in because it's going to involve.
It's quite smart for them because think about all these companies that do review, apart from what Ant just said.
Yeah.
So if they give it a negative review,
they're against.
They're like, oh look, they're against this sort of thing. So hence why all these companies giving a good review. So it's actually
because the game's got a lot of stuff in it, it's got a lot. It's quite diverse. It's got Ellie, she's lesbian, and we got the transgender child, and it's like it's good. It's not a bad thing, but they got so much in it, and
so
I feel
much
like
that they can't say anything bad about it.
So if you do say it's a bad game, you're against us. Yeah. So that's not the case. I didn't like these parts because it was not necessary in this type of scenario. If you put it in any other scenario, I would have loved it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like
when you look at that, then that makes kind of.
Yeah, that's really bad how they using that excuse for people not. I mean, again, I mentioned it earlier. I liked it because it was advertised bad for me because the trailer obviously doesn't bring up Abby. You play as Ellie. So when I asked you about the shock factor about Joel dying, and you said you was, but you wasn't shocked or something.
Yeah, I knew because I knew it was going to happen.
That's the thing because the trailer,
the way he died, the goal.
Because the trailer shows you just play as Ellie, so you assume obviously something happens to Joel because okay, you play as him at the beginning, but as the trailer perspective of it, it shows you're not playing as Joel, so something's going to happen to him. He gets kidnapped, he dies. You knew something was going to happen. So again, bad marketing, in my opinion. But going to pros, going back to the video we were talking about, there was the scene where the ferry's abandoned, and Abby finds little segments of like pieces of paper that tell a story of how the ferry. That was phenomenal. And again, I didn't realise that until watching this video. I mean, I remember getting the little bits and pieces, but I kind of feel bad I didn't get them all. And it makes up the story.
There's also in the open world area, when the shop area, there's a little story going on in there as well.
Yeah, that was a good one. I think that was the. I remember speaking to Nash about this actually. It's the one of the Archer, the legendary Archer or something, and then that was epic. And as you're journeying through, you're finding you're building on that story. So it's a story within a story, and it's like
it's pretty cool.
It's like a side story.
Yeah.
Kind of like put it in yourself.
Exactly.
And little nods to the first one because Ellie can't swim in the first one, and then there's a part at the beginning where she gets in the water and he's like, "Do you want help?" "No, I've learnt now." It's like, "Oh yeah, then we don't have to go save her now."
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add to the pros and cons on that side of that?
I'm trying to think more of the cons, because for me anyway, there was a lot of pros. Like what did I not like about it?
Be honest, go cool. You just love Naughty Dog, don't you? There's something that really was like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I think we've pretty much said it.
I think we've pretty much said it. Yeah.
I like guitar.
The bit where you're collecting the gears to upgrade your thing. Cards. Yeah, they were wicked. The little cards, that was wicked. The training cards.
That was cool. I love collecting stuff. And
that's kind of cool.
I can this.
Yeah, because you see that and it kind of gives you a glimpse of normal life again. So it's like kind of like, this is a bit weird. Yeah. But also when you're collecting gears to upgrade your equipment and stuff. So your scrap, so you forget about upgrading and then you've got like 500 and you're like, I can get this. This is like boom, 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 3 times combo. Okay, now I've got everything. Yeah, exactly. Molotov, sick. All right, next one. Yeah. Yeah, that was, but I think that was it, right? Yeah. Anything else? Any pros and cons?
We've touched on everything, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think we've covered.
That's what it
was too.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that out there. Yeah, it was quite controversial topic, but we had to talk about
overall,
it.
Overall, all right, here's a question to everyone: who would replay it when it's?
I'm excited to see it on the PS5.
I think I might give it a go on the PS5.
On the PS5, yeah.
Also, I might watch it, but I wouldn't play it again.
I don't think I'll play it again.
If it wasn't remastered, I wouldn't. But I think,
I definitely won't.
I mean, it's 50 quid.
I mean, it's just that ending where, like, I was tapping the button, and then we got the ending. It was literally the only time in my life where I literally smashed or fucking threw down a joypad to the floor. And this is my limited edition Death Stranding DualShock 4 as well. And it was just good fucking God.
I mean, what if they
remastered with a little bit of a DLC?
That's what I was going to say.
I don't think I could.
No? Is that you just
No. Even if I love the game, I think number 2 is a one-time experience. It's like when you watched The Dark Knight for the first time. You'll never get that same experience first time.
Yeah, I feel the
especially
same.
that scene I told you about with the big fucking... Because I know it's coming now. It won't affect me as much. So...
Agreed.
I probably... unless I did it on a harder mode or something maybe, but...
You're right. So it's a one-time game because you know everything about it, like even the stories and stuff. So yeah, you're right. But again, I'll do it.
Skip all the cutscenes. Second time, I mean, you don't need to watch it, do you?
No,
You think about it.
Save a couple of hours.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you want to watch that dude fuck Haley from behind again because he can't stand the sight of her.
He's got that on his phone.
I didn't tell you. So the woman who done the voice for Abby also does the voice for Kate in Gears of War.
Oh really?
Yeah, and the weekend that game came out, apparently she got so much hate mail on Twitter and
Why?
like Facebook one because everyone hated Ellie. Or not everyone, a majority of gamers didn't like Ellie, and they found out that she did.
Abby, sorry.
Abby, sorry, beg your pardon.
Yeah,
Abby does the voice. Yeah, she does the voice of Abby as well.
Man, I like Abby, man.
And apparently, she got so much hate mail for just the Abby character because people obviously IMDb'd her and realised, oh, it's Kate that does the voice of Kate that does Abby. And they were just like, you fucking bitch. Oh, I can't believe you got away with it and whatnot.
For what?
Yeah.
It's not her fault.
I know it's not her fault, but people, this is what I'm saying. This is how much this character has affected a certain amount of gamers.
Because for me, like I genuinely
because
like
a lot to obviously apart from you three, you know, 4, Abby's the devil to certain people.
No, I get it. I get it. She killed Joel. Like Joel's gonna die. Fine. Abby kills it. Whatever. But you know, you end up you find a reason why she had to do it.
Yeah, but it's just that fact that you killed someone family member. You're gonna kill him at the end, aren't you?
Like I said, Joel is one of my favorite characters, and I learned that he dies. I hated the game at that moment, and then by the time I finished it, Abby's like.
I felt like a lot of people read what other people write about the game, and
definitely Nash.
Definitely, that's what I was about to say.
Definitely,
dude,
and
Nash.
He's a follower.
He's a follower.
You influenced him big time.
Yeah,
because there's a word where it's like, this is a sick game. And I had a
control
conversation with him, and it's like, no, I don't.
Do you remember when we come out of lockdown mid last year, whatnot? You guys come over for a game night, and I was like, how furious. Do you remember how furious I was?
You were just hating the game. That's when we played it one at a time.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, because I think you played it first, didn't you?
Yeah.
You were playing it first?
I think Nash was still playing it.
Oh, I played it after you, innit? You played it after me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you completed it first. Sorry.
And then you told me, oh, look, you make a decision for yourself.
I'm not going to say anything, just play the game.
Yeah.
That's all I said. Yeah, and we said the same thing to Gal, little Gal. But
it's amazing how a game can give you like different.
Yeah, it's a good game. Look, it's gotten us all talking about.
It's given us an episode.
Absolutely.
So
got an episode out of it. I thought it'd be a bit more controversial this episode, but are you glad we got it done now?
Finally, yes.
Finally happy with it?
Now can I do my Pokemon episode?
I told you need 50 likes. You've only got one, which is Handsome Raz. He's the only guy that's helping you out with that episode.
Danny.
You put a thumbs up for that.
Oh, and Matt will do it. Oh no, he does anime.
No, he does the anime.
Shit, we need to speak to him.
Yeah. No, I totally respect everything you said, guys. I mean, I'm still
Thanks for doing
two minds about it, but I appreciate that you guys. I mean, if that's what games are. You have a different experience with it. I mean, it's not like I like Fallout and then Fallout 76, but I hate it. He loves it. So
it's like when you like certain points when you come out of it, and then you're like, that's why he doesn't like it. Even like the point you said where the human element is right. You're right. There's too much of it. It's just like what I'm saying. Where are the zombies?
yeah.
What's
it's two sided. Like Goku likes Tenet and Little G doesn't.
Yeah.
But like, you say that.
Don't even bring that back.
You say that, yeah, but it's been like 5 years, just over 5 years since the whole zombie infected thing has come out. Don't you think a lot of them have been killed off regardless?
Or what's happening to? Are they mutating?
But they'll be like obviously migrating elsewhere, and it won't be in one place.
It'll be around the world.
Are they killed or migrated? There's not going to be more infected. So, I mean, that's a fair point, no?
That's a fair point.
It's interesting. Yeah.
it's just it's such a I don't know, like for a game to kind of like generate this much interest in everyone, and to have for us even like you said, like to do a podcast on it, it's worth it. Like we've done like a good we spent a long time on like talking about it because there's so much to say about this. Right?
Obviously,
totally. I mean, it's really it's one of those games where it's so interesting to hear other people's sides of it. It's like when I had one experience of it. Obviously, Courage really liked it. There was people on Facebook that were like, "It's a masterpiece." I'm like,
"No, it's not."
it's like it's a good game, but masterpiece is
I wouldn't say masterpiece.
It's a strong word for something like that.
Like I said, a solid 4. Overall, solid 4. I think that's a good bet.
It's like when you read the status, like, "Oh, Last of Us 2 masterpiece," and you're like,
"It's like
it's
like that thing again." Like, I don't want to bring a movie into it, but like it's either if you don't like it, then you're against us. It's like that movie Black Panther. So that was quite. They had a lot of thing with that, didn't you? Yeah, I don't want to go into it, but
it's the Last of Us of movies.
Yeah, technically, yeah. Yeah, no
be interesting how they do number 2, but no. Thank you guys for coming on and talking about it. I know it's taken us a year, but we had to give it a year for spoiler territories and reason and whatnot. And I'm not too sure if I'm happy with your result, but it's good to hear what you said.
I'm happy with yours.
Yeah,
so
all right.
I am happy with yours.
Yeah. Yes. Now get out of the studio.
Studio, damn it.
I know.
So guys, thanks for listening. If you want to follow us on Facebook at the M.T.V.B podcast, or on Instagram at M.T.V.B podcast, follow us to subscribe and be notified when future episodes are available. And obviously season 3 coming soon as well. Thanks for listening, and this is Ant-Man signing off with
Gogol,
Ray Fox,
Little Girl,
and Brian Fuzzle.
Guys, you have to pick if it was Elliot or Abby, what would you do? Goodbye.